How do you define creativity?
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it really, really well.
What do you do?
I do things.
What type of things?
The things that make me money. Coño.
There we go. That's what I want to get into.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to label anyone, and especially, I don't know if this is a trigger word for people, but influencers or content creators, or some people like those words, some people don't like those words, but I want to know, what do you consider what are the things that make you money right now?
Before I answer, am I supposed to vertically hold the microphone? Because I feel like I'm on a horizontal vibe and you're on a vertical vibe. So I don't know. Does that throw it off?
No. This is my vibe and that's your vibe.
I do horizontal.
You do what makes you feel comfortable.
Yours kind of looks like a dick.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is that on purpose?
No. This is like a twitch I have. I do this throughout the podcast.
You like to touch the dick?
No.
You gotta
The
tweak
microphone.
the
The microphone.
dick. It's a dick tweak. Yeah, I saw the baby oil. I knew something weird was gonna happen eventually.
Man,
it was coming.
Who invited this guy on the podcast?
You did. I asked you. I warned you before. I warned you guys. I said, "How much can you? Are you sure you want me here? Not everybody wants me here, but here we are.
This is what we want in here. Well, not that, but we want the raw flavor.
You want it raw, no condoms. Yeah. Okay, I could do that. I could raw dog this podcast. But yeah, when people ask me that, I just tell them I'm a comedian. It makes it easy because then I can. Once you tell people you're a comedian, you can essentially insult them, and they don't care. And now it's funny. If I don't tell you that, it's like, oh, who is this guy? But once I tell you, it's like,
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it's kind of like an umbrella. A comedian can be all the other things that you do.
Oh yeah. It goes into influencing and content creating. I'm not 100%. I don't shy away from the words because it's what I do. I guess I'm an influencer. I don't know what the fuck I'm influencing.
Right.
Bad decisions for sure. Horrible speech. Like I am like the worst influence possible. But I guess it's an influence.
What are you influencing? Like, how did you start creating content? Because I know you started fairly recent, not recent, like couple days ago, but like maybe a year or two.
It's been a year and a half.
That's crazy.
It'll be 2 years in April from when the first video took off. So yeah, relatively recent. It's just funny stuff, and most of the things that have made me blow up are experiences I had with my father growing up and imitating him. And I guess I'm just trauma dumping on everybody, and everybody finds it funny and relates.
Relatable, of course.
Yeah, it's very relatable. So that's I guess that's what I'm influencing. Yeah.
So you had no like plan to become a content creator or influencer. It was just, oh, this is funny, I'm gonna put a video out.
Yeah, I started with music actually. I did that for years. And like any struggling musician in the world, they know no one gives a fuck about your music. No one cares. So you spend years doing stuff with no effort, and it drives you crazy. And then one day I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna post a funny video for my friends how I used to do. Because prior to the Instagram and stuff on Twitter, I had a couple of videos go viral of me doing a lot of Cuban stuff. I gave myself like a Cuban identity and da-da-da. And I decided to do the same thing on Instagram. And the video just took a life of its own. Once it got to 500,000 views, I was like, okay, I gotta do another one. Because this is...
You were hooked, kind of.
Yeah, I realized the potential. And I did another one and went well. I did another one. And every video I started posting, it started getting momentum. And I just kept going till we are where we are now.
And what were you doing at the time that, besides like pursuing music, that allowed you to think of, oh, I'm just gonna make a video?
What do you mean?
Like, what were you doing for work? What were you doing in life?
Oh, well, I've always been in real estate, so I do home inspections, appraisals, contracting, different stuff. It's what I've done for like 12 years. So that's my bread and butter, my day to day. It still is now. And hopefully, it'll never go away because it's a business at the end of the day. I can continue running it while I do the Fleyva stuff, but that's what kept me alive. Yeah, I wasn't a fucking beggar on the street, 100%. No, not me.
So, but was your business already established, or you were still in like building, getting clients, doing the legwork of that?
No, I was already established in the business. Yeah, I was set. I had my clientele. I was already somebody there. I just that's not a passion. It's just it's something that just brings you money, support the kids, support the family.
So yeah, you think that like kind of building that throughout the years, at that point you were like, all right, like there's something that I need to like scratch my itch. Like,
Yeah, creating. It was what actually got me into the music, and I started recording the music and starting that journey was a near death experience. I genuinely almost died.
what do you mean?
So yeah, I was on the turnpike and I played ping pong on the turnpike. It sounds funny as fuck, but it's not funny at all. I was driving. I'll never forget it. I'm going up in Orlando, and I'm in the backseat of a fucking Mini Cooper. Never got in a Mini Cooper after that. But some guy on the other side of the turnpike going southbound fell asleep and broke through the median.
Ooh.
So a piece of the median flew off and went under the Mini Cooper and picked it up. And so it slid across. And I remember we grinded on one side and it's raining. So we hydroplaned to the other side. And I'm looking at the other median from the other side. And it was like my life flashed before my eyes. And the only thing I could think of in that moment was, I haven't done anything. And I haven't done what I want to do. I don't feel accomplished. That was the only thing that went through my mind. I didn't do anything. And then, boom, I hit the median and it was like, I'm not dead. Okay, tomorrow, when I get out of this and when I clean all the blood off my head and everything, I'm going to start my journey. And I did. I got on my laptop. I opened GarageBand. I bought myself an interface and I just started recording myself and making music. And posting it through the years, I think, is what helped me lose that fear of doing all the funny videos and stuff for Flyva. So I guess that kind of prepped me for what that was. But yeah, it was almost dying. That was kind of the fuck it moment for me.
Damn. So your fuck it switch kind of went off a little later with a near death experience. You never had like a creative spark or something in your childhood or something that maybe you started that you could like tie back to that maybe led you into the music or comedy?
I mean, I've always been funny naturally. I like kind of the class clown. Like I was always the one that would get thrown out of the classroom, or they would pick up my desk and I would have to sit outside and do my work outside. I was that
It's like
guy.
illegal now.
Yeah, it's like illegal. They can't do that. They can't. The teachers can't bully you no more. We should bring it back. Like the kids now,
It's kind of wild.
they're fucking pussies. Like I don't like the kids now. They suck.
They put the desk and face the wall, and you just be there for the whole hour. No respect.
Yeah, outside. I was
Outside.
outside. Yeah, CSI, 10-day suspensions. Yeah. These kids don't know about that.
Why do they call it CSI again?
I have no idea. I always thought
Crime scene.
the first time I got CSI, I thought they were taking me to like the film set. I was like, oh, this sounds cool as fuck.
Now, you know what was wild actually that I always tell my wife? Saturday school, that's wild.
That's
How
bad.
are you gonna make a kid go to school on Saturday?
Like, why?
Like that should. I don't think we really had to show up for that. That was like a bullshit rule.
It was more of a punishment for the teachers than them because they had to go to work on Saturday. It's like,
Nah.
you shot yourself in the foot, stupid. You shouldn't have done this.
That one blows my mind.
Oh my god. But yeah. It's that, and then in high school also I used to freestyle and lunch and with my friends outside. You know, just get high and freestyle. I think everybody when they smoke a little weed, they think they're fucking Eminem.
Dolphin Moms doing freestyles.
Yeah.
Everyone did that.
Everybody did that shit, but I was actually pretty good at it, and I guess that's kind of what took me in that direction.
So it's like primarily hip hop you were fucking with.
Yeah, like hip hop, rap, because I can't sing for shit. Like if that would have been in, I think everybody would just been like, "Hey, para, like please, we love you, just don't, not that."
And you got everything yourself, and you started learning like the programs and like how to engineer yourself and how to tinker with everything, like full self-taught.
Yeah, and then I met a friend of mine. His name is Merk, and he really taught me how to mix and engineer. And another friend by the name of Jason, he taught me how to produce, and I kind of shadowed them, and I learned over the years, and to the point that now I can actually, audio engineer.
That's awesome. That's sick, bro. Because sometimes you don't realize, like, when you're that young and you're like dabbling and shit, you're like I'm either gonna make it in music or I'm not. But you're not thinking, man, when I'm like in my later years and now this social media thing's blowing up and I'm creating content, like I can use that skill. And like now you could probably edit and audio engineer your own skits and make them even like more quality versus somebody else that's just like doing it from the phone or whatever, because you know how it works.
I always had that mentality even when I was doing that. Like I was like, okay, even if I never make it in music, which I know it's like a 1 in a million fucking shot, I'm still learning a skill. Like there's a lot that I'm learning. Yeah. There's a lot, to the point that the first sponsorship I got from Fleyva was like, you know that 411 Pain? So it was a similar one from Orlando, and I made them a jingle.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was able to create the jingle, and they loved it. And I realized, okay, now I'm finally making money off this shit, because before then I hadn't made a fucking dollar.
Yeah, nah, and it's funny because like I think I had the same mentality. I just didn't know it. But I was when I started DJing, I was like, yo, why am I gonna pay all these people to like do my own graphic design and my video edits? Like I'm a home. Like I don't need.
You're
I don't
just
have that
jacking your
money.
dick all day. Like I'm like, okay, you start looking at your hands and you're like, you could be typing instead of jerking. Type and learn.
More productivity for sure.
Yeah.
So I always thought of that. I'm like, I mean, worst case scenario, I learned the skill and then like I could do it for somebody else.
Yeah.
And I mean, absolute best case, I'm doing it for myself and saving money.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you think that kind of like, where did you get that mindset of like, yo, I'm gonna figure this shit out myself. Like I'm not gonna go look for the person to do it for me or pay out of pocket, or you think it's from like starting your own business or your family or.
Yeah, my father, 100%. So my father's a Cuban immigrant, typical Cuban immigrant, does everything himself, knows how to fucking build a car and build a house and do everything. And he refuses to pay someone to do
Right.
something because he's like, why if I can do it? Even if it comes out worse, doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
100%.
I'm doing it. So growing up and seeing that, I never had the mentality of being an employee. I could never handle it, even when I was first starting to get jobs. I remember I went to Aeropostale once, and I did the first day of training. And when I saw I had to deal with people, and they're like, "Oh, you know, if a customer talks to you like this, you gotta be nice." And I was like, "I'm gonna slap the shit out of somebody. I cannot work for you guys." So, yeah, from the jump, I've always had my own businesses. Even in school, man. Like in college, I would have an essay writing ring.
Wow.
With little Bangladeshians. Yeah, it was the best time of my life.
Wow, you're
Yeah.
ahead of the game.
Ahead of the game.
You outsource that or you?
Yeah, of course. I just middleman. So imagine, it's these Bangladeshi immigrants. They don't fucking know nobody.
But you're talking about in school, like
On campus.
Oh, you're
On campus.
okay.
So I would know about I would know a lot of people, and they didn't know nobody. And I met them, and they were like, "Hey, you know, we do essays. If you know somebody that wants to do essays, these are our rates." And I looked at the rates, and I was like, "These are illegal immigrants rates. I can absolutely take advantage of this." I was like, "Capitalism, thank you." So I would charge people, man. It was crazy, like $100, $200 an essay, and pay them like $40, $50. So I was making a whole lot of money. I was like, I can, you know, I'm an entrepreneur.
I'm not gonna ask what college you went to
Yeah,
because
don't.
can incriminate you.
Yeah, they're gonna review everybody's essays from that year. It's
Well,
gonna be a problem.
but I mean, those times back then were, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, but it was still kind of shady. Like I remember, bro, using technology, like no one knew about. You can go online and get essays done. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't straight plagiarizing because they weren't great and they weren't in the classroom to know what the professor wanted. But bro, saved you, especially back then, hours
Time.
and hours and hours at a
Yeah.
time. And it's like the business mindset of like, all right, man, I'm gonna pay this guy that's overseas that's happy to do this essay to structure, outline it, and then I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna spend like 3 hours on it, and then boom, and I saved myself like 3 days.
You realize time is money. That's really
Yeah.
all money ever is. It's time. It's how much time do I spend and what do I think my time is worth, and that's what eventually, you know.
And what's important. And even back then, it's like literally, it's prioritizing. Like this essay is bullshit. I just need it to pass this one thing, but the test is important.
Yeah.
And I have to study for that. So
Right.
like, let me get rid of that. But yeah, that's that. I think it's super crucial when you have like that entrepreneur mindset, but then you're also a creative. And you get to marry the both if you're lucky enough, where maybe it's not one side is stronger than the other, but you're able to deal with that in the real world. So it's not like, because you know, especially in the beginning, you're a creative and you're creating content, you don't know what to do. You're just like shooting darts at a board, and you just like hopefully
So
something
something
sticks.
hits, but that's how it should be when you're a creator. You got to figure out what people are gonna like, because it's not just what you like.
Right.
I know a lot of times people are like, no, I like this and this is what works. It's like, it's a blend of what you like and what people are going to actually consume. And once you find out what works for you, you got to keep doing that shit and do it repetitively until you create a name for yourself. And then you can start branching out. But you kind of got to start from the bottom.
So when you create content, are you like trying to hit something with your audience,
No.
or are you just like,
No,
this
fuck
is
them.
dope?
Nah, fuck them. Fuck all of them. I do whatever the fuck I want. You like it? Cool. You don't? Unfollow me. I swear to God. I don't think about people and if they're going to like it. I think of a funny idea and I bring it to life and I post it. And it can either get 50,000 views or it could get 1 million.
Right.
I don't give a fuck. Just, I'm going to keep posting it and I'm going to do the content I like doing because it's my page.
I'm sure a lot of people hit you up when you did that tour thing and like you got mad hate or this and that, but you were just like,
listen,
you
hold on.
you leaned into it.
This is the part where we take off the glasses and I talk to the camera. All right. So you guys were telling me on the tour video, you guys would tell me all the fucking time it was, oh, but he has a wife and children and family, and how are you gonna make fun of him going when he got hit? You're telling me I'm making fun of the guy that makes $40 million a year playing a contact sport in which he signed the contract willingly knowing he was gonna get hit by 350-pound silverback gorillas, and I'm the one that's fucking crossing the line?
I guess the pushback is, what if he would have had permanent damage?
He's playing football. Yeah, you know that shit's gonna happen. And then it's my job to make fun of you for doing it. Everybody told you to fucking retire. You want to go back out there? Well, us comedians are gonna hit you for being stupid. And the funniest part is if he would have decided to retire, he walks away with $112 million.
Yeah.
So who's stupid? Me or Tua? If somebody told you right now, stop podcasting, I'm gonna give you $100 million. Do you think you would ever release a single other interview?
Yeah,
No,
I think that was my goal. I monetized.
You thought about it way too much. I would have been like, retirement, fuck you all. Like,
yeah, no, it's finding comedy in the pain, literally.
Yeah, that's what we do. We make fun of everything. I don't feel there should be a limit in comedy. Like, you can make fun of borderline everything. There is no limit. It's just about how do you play with that line? How do you play where it's still entertaining and it's not un pujo? Because that's when it's like, you're just trying too hard. But how do you create something out of any situation? I promise you, any situation can be funny. You can make fun of a murder and make it funny. It's funny. Racism is funny. Classism is funny. Political jokes are funny. It's just everybody takes it personal.
Right.
And they shouldn't when it comes to comedy, because that's what we're here for. We're entertaining you. We're giving you an escape from your reality. So if you take it personal, you're taking away from that little moment of enjoyment that you could have by watching us.
Yeah, I think it's what you said. Like, it depends how you're delivering it and the awareness you have that you're making the joke. It's not just a joke to make a joke to get shock value. It's like, all right, this is a tricky subject. Let me craft it a way that someone's gonna see the underlining comedy of it. But it's not just like, oh, this will get a million hits because I mentioned this and that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a little part of that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we know what we're doing. We're fucking with you. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. There is a little, like, not with your audience, but there is a little bit of, like, this will be a good skit. Let me just strategically put this out. Like, you are thinking a little bit before you're putting it out. You're not just...
I thought it was funny.
Right.
I kept it up. I'm not taking it down.
No, but I think that's also what kind of gives creators success, where it's like, because if you care too much, you can lean the other way, and then you're like, I mean, we talk about it all the time on this podcast, and we're not even doing like crazy content like that of shock value topics. It's just like putting your own work out.
But you get bullied after that. If you allow somebody to tell you what to do, then you're just going to be their pawn for the rest of your life. And you're essentially letting everybody know you can control my content. And you're not going to control my content. Like, you come to my page. If you don't enjoy my page, there are millions of other creators that you can go consume that play that little whack-ass line that you want to live in. And if that's the boring way you want to live your life, then, I mean, go ahead. But you don't have to come to my channel. It's the fucking internet. Close your fucking eyes. That's it. Just stop. Like, I go away. I promise.
So you obviously have that in mind when you're working with brands or clients, like, because
that's different. That's money. Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Like, if someone approaches you, and they have a specific idea, are you working within those parameters, or are you, well, I think this is going to be funny and I think this take would work, and this is my brand and this is how I work, so this is what I'm going to do. So
whenever it comes to brands and it comes to money, at the end of the day, it's a business, and it's a business deal and an arrangement. So both sides have to come to a happy medium when you're in business. So I always ask the brand, what are you comfortable with? Because if you're coming to me, I have a very blunt, straightforward type of comedy. So how much of that do you want when I'm promoting your business? There are some that will tell me, do as much as you want. For example, West Miami Jewelry, he doesn't give a fuck what I do at all. He's like, toda la pinga y los cojones que quieras soltar, suéltalo. I don't care. there's other businesses that have told me otherwise and said, hey, we need you to work around these parameters. I don't want these words. I don't want this. And I can still make it work. But that's money. So
Right.
when it's a business deal, I can't just be like, fuck you. But I can to a guy with 52 followers. I can tell him to go suck a dick. Like, yeah, I don't care about him.
But do you think the content outside of your brand deals might limit you to other brands approaching you?
No.
Because
No, absolutely not. Because that's what the people want to see and what has been working for the last year and a half. That's what took me from 5,000 followers to 113,000 that I have today, to the point that I have damn near 2 million accounts that come to my page every month. That's what a brand wants. And for anybody that wants to build their page, they have to realize you have to be true to your identity and to what you're doing for your brand and what you're comfortable doing. And if people like what you're doing, there's no reason for you to stop. Do you have to obviously make it a little cleaner for the brands? Yeah, but it's like when Kevin Hart has a sponsorship, he'll go, but he's not doing the jokes he does in stand-up when he works with Mountain Dew or when he works with the NBA. He has to clean it up, and he understands he does, but it still works because the NBA just wants him, and everybody that viewed him will just come and see what he's going to do with the NBA. You want to see his stand-up? Go see his stand-up, but that's what made him. He can't let that go. I would never let that go. You come to my stand-up comedy, you better be ready for a lot of in-your-face, no fucking limits of what I do. I made fun of the fucking autistic kids bagging groceries. Do you think I have a line? I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what you're getting. And I let people know, and people absolutely know. If you follow me, you know what you're getting. If you bought a ticket to my show, you know what you're getting. And the brands still want to work with me, even with that, because they know that when I work with them, it's different. But they want Fleyva. They want the brand to work with their brand.
I think building a brand, right, especially like in the age we're in, is like the most important part of every creative aspect. Because it's like you said, you're building your own brand, but then within that brand, you have the lanes and the different tentacles that like instruments that you do. So you have like the stand-up comedy, you have the actual Instagram Flyva page, you have content that you make for brands, then you have your own shit, then you have brand deals, but all that is different, but it's still you.
Tentacles sounded a little gay. That was a little,
I was actually proud. I was like,
tentacles.
use that correctly.
A little tickly. I don't know.
You're like an octopus.
There's a lot happening here. Baby oil, the dick microphone, the tentacles. I don't know where this is headed.
You're locked in, bro.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, it's almost, you got to focus more on yourself and instead of chasing what you think is going to work. Because in the long run, people, like, their brands are paying creators to be themselves. And then what's to say now, you know, you're doing all these things, but now, for example, you put out a Miami Heat collab Fleyva shirt tomorrow. All your followers are going to buy it, whether it sucks or it's dope. They just want to support you.
Right, to an extent. Yeah, I would hope it wouldn't suck. I would kind of not do some sucky shit. I would absolutely not like to do any sucky shit. But yeah, to an extent, that is true. But you do have to stay true to yourself, because then the people that have been coming up with you and that have been following you and consume your content, they'll call you out for it. It's like the Kanye West effect. Like, we saw you do so well and then you changed up on us. And now we don't really want to consume your content because now you're not true to yourself. I can see you're faking it. And now I'm going to leave.
Yeah, so, it shows.
Yeah, the real recognize real. So how do you...
So there's probably brand deals you wouldn't take if it didn't align.
I don't work with lawyers.
Why?
Because fuck them. Yeah, no, straight. My sister's one. I have to do videos for her now because she's my fucking sister. But law's not funny. Like, and they have so many fucking parameters that, and there's so many stops that I'm just like, yeah, fuck you guys. So if you're a lawyer and you want to work with me, no. Unless I'm in a jam, then yes. Then yes, absolutely.
I mean, you have your sister though, so
I do.
Straight.
I do.
You got 401 Pain or the other brand in Orlando. You got
I do have them.
So if anything happens, you're covered.
100%.
So when you're dealing with brands, are you more like inbound? People are hitting you up and you're just filtering what works, what doesn't, or are you actually actively hitting up?
I don't hit up anybody. I don't do that. You want Flyva? Come get Flyva. Flyva's not gonna live for you.
Damn, Mars.
Yeah. Period.
So you're not really worried about kind of the scaling model of branding, or I'm sorry, of collaborating with brands.
It happens on its own. Eventually, when you have your own traction, and the brands will come looking for you. Once you've built yourself to a certain stature, uh, it's gonna come. It's a testament to your work. That's the moment that you realize, okay, I'm really doing something cool. When you're getting the sponsorship deals. Up until that point, it's just fun. Then it becomes a job, and then it's like, okay, can you handle the pressure of the job now? Can you still have fun while knowing that you have to produce every week? You can't take a 3-day break anymore. You can't take a month off. You have to be producing content every fucking day. Can you handle it? Can you stay funny? Are you that funny? Are people gonna still fuck with you? Are you gonna handle the hate when it comes to your doorstep? Are you gonna handle the messages of people telling you to fuck off and that they don't think you're representing your culture correctly? Can you handle that? That's when shit gets real. But the money comes if you can handle all that, and if you can take all those bullets and you can handle those shots. And trust me, you'll do fine.
How do you handle that?
I don't give a fuck.
But where does that no fucks given, zero fucks meter come from?
I'm from Hialeah, bro. Like
Hialeah.
everybody from Hialeah, we're a different breed of people. Like there's Miami and then there's
Right.
Hialeah. We are not the same. Like everybody's just tough out there. Like yeah, I have friendships over there and we don't say I love you. We say fuck you, dude. Like you're a pussy. And that's me telling him I love you. How's your day going? You know what I'm saying? We're just thick skinned kind of fucking
You need
people.
a Hialeah dictionary.
You do. It's different. It's really different, man.
Yeah, no, it's funny because like I'm hearing you talk and I'm like, damn, I'm here worrying about like, oh, if I put this artwork I made out, people are gonna think it's whack. What do I do?
That's whack. That's
Yeah.
stupid. That worry and that doubt that you have it's the worst thing, because even if you do pump out something and it sucks, you think they're gonna remember what you did tomorrow.
It's the ego.
It's your ego, and that's what limits you and stops you, and it shouldn't be that way. You should be able to understand that, okay, my first, my second, my third, my fourth, and my fifth attempt, it didn't work. But then 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are. And once 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 produce, no one's gonna remember 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1.
You just gotta get started.
You just gotta hit once. You only gotta hit the lottery once. You don't gotta hit it a bunch of times. You hit it once, and that's it. You're set. And then figure out how to do it from there.
Right. So how do you going back to dealing with that pressure or lack thereof dealing with the pressure?
Yeah, no.
Do you like hold yourself to, I guess, either not a standard or a consistent, goal that you have to hit every week, or are you just literally going with the flow, or like
With the flow. With the flow every single time. I don't force content. I don't force an idea. Like right now, I was just driving and I'm at a fucking stop sign, and this lady gets to the stop sign at the same time as me. And she goes an inches forward and then brakes, and then I go and brakes, and she brakes and brakes. And I'm like, okay, this is a video. And that's it. I went with the fucking flow. And right now, I'll probably go outside and film the fucking video. That's it. You have to be receptive to the universe and allow it to give you the stuff that it's going to give you, as long as you're open. If you close yourself off and you're like, no, this has to be like this, and I have to have control, that's when you're going to fail. You have no control. Let go. You let go, and every door is going to open on its fucking own for you, and eventually you'll find your way. There's a way for everybody. Stop competing with the next guy. Stop looking at him and saying that motherfucker's doing better than me. Stop saying my shit's not working. Stop saying why me, and instead grab the opportunities of your failure and say, okay, what did I learn from failing today? And then turn it into something. That's when you become successful, and that's when you can let go and start to see the fruit of your fucking labor. When you stop feeling like a pussy and bad for yourself.
let's fucking go, bro.
Gold. That's all I spit.
So you're cool, like if for whatever reason life hits you and you go like 2 weeks, you didn't produce nothing, you're not stressing. You're like, oh my
Nope.
Instagram, they're gonna lose interest. You just,
I mean, there's a certain stress that comes with success, because you don't want to fail. And my biggest fear, I've always said, is failure. That's it. That's the only thing I fear. I embrace it, but I fear absolute failure, like crashing and doing that. So, fuck, I lost where I was going. I don't know where.
Like,
I was
you
gonna
don't-
say some cool shit, and I don't know what the fuck I was gonna say.
nah, you don't feel the pressure of creating content.
Pressure. So, you do at a certain point, once you start getting to a certain level of numbers, you're like, okay, this is the bar I have to hit, and this is what I'm expecting out of myself every time. But that's the little voice you need to silence, because it's gonna come every fucking time. It comes cyclically, and you're like, okay, I didn't hit a certain number. I didn't go how I thought it was gonna go. But you just kind of gotta go with it. You learn to go with it. You learn to say, fuck it, because then 2 weeks later you have a video that goes fucking crazy, or you get into a project and it goes super fucking well. So it's just about, like I said, going with the fucking flow and get pissed, go cry like a fucking pussy in the corner, but come back, wipe your tears, and then keep fucking going.
Yeah, and then you forget about that 3 weeks ago when you're like, damn, I didn't get anything out, because that's already long gone, and you have like 4 pieces out already, and
long gone.
So do you, speaking of like the pressure and this and that, do you collaborate with other creatives often, or because like, is there people that you look to? It doesn't have to be Miami, but that influence you, that you would like to collaborate, or you already collaborate with, that you do videos with or projects with or anything really?
I mean, yeah, there's Mr. Red. We're always doing videos. And I like doing videos with Red because we're two people that like to go with the flow, and we feed well off each other. Luis Diaz too, I have fun. Corey Cubano, we have a blast all the time. And those are the creators that I work with. I work with people that are not so structured and that can go with the flow and just give me fun content. If I can have fun while I'm filming with you, I don't mind collaborating, even if you have 2,000 followers, but you have to be cool, and you have to be somebody that you can handle what I'm going to bring to the table, you know?
Yeah, you got to just being a good person to be around and hang out is, for anything you're doing, is more important than like your talent or whatever.
That's the secret to success. It's just being yourself.
Yeah. So do you have any influences like outside, like growing up, maybe someone you watched early on as a kid, or even in the music or something that like you're like, oh, I like that personality or how they say things? Or
oh man, like immediately the first thing when you said that was like old school Eminem. That's like I think the one that made me realize people love it when you're in their fucking face and crude and just honest about your fucking opinions. Because old school Eminem did not give a flying fuck about anything. He was making fun of everybody. He was dissing everyone. He was calling
family.
His own mom. Yeah, is crazy. You know, the stuff he would say, and people really gravitated towards that. So I think that is that Slim Shady personality is kind of very similar to Fleyva. I'm not that crazy, but it's similar in the fuck you, just it is what it is kind of mentality.
What about comedians?
Oh, Dave Chappelle. All day. Dave Chappelle. I think a lot of comedians would probably say Dave Chappelle just because he's masterful with the storytelling and the way that he sneaks that joke up on you. It's cool. Cat Williams, genius on the fucking microphone. Like the way he created a personality, that pimp personality, that you believed it when he was on stage. Like you really thought that this was an old school pimp coming and telling you stories. Like that's really cool. Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor. Those are the guys that I like, the funny in your face personality comedians. That's the one I gravitate towards.
So when you started doing stand up, how did you go about that process? Because you did that relatively recent too, right? Like, were you just like, oh, I'm gonna kind of do a spin-off of, you know, what I do already, creating content? Or was it like, yo, I need to write some jokes, or I need to...
Yeah, no, I had to write the jokes because when you're on stage and you have people paying to see you, it's different. You have to give them a show. So I had to structure the show and sit down and write it out. But I kind of brought the same element of what I do on camera, on Instagram, and I brought it to the stage. Just a little more structured, but yeah, I tried to keep it as real as possible to my personality.
And I mean, you say obviously like you being yourself out there, and especially when you're doing stand up, like that's like the ultimate career of being yourself. Like you're literally out there being the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
But do you care that, you know, maybe sometimes, because I know there's a lot of like Miami comedians that they not rely on it, but they lean in heavy on the Miami material because obviously you're in Miami. Mm-hmm. But is that something that you think of maybe in the future, like, oh, I like to take this on the road, or, you know?
I think as a comedian, whatever city you're in, you have to cater it to them. So you have to understand where you are, and you have to formulate jokes for your audience. So if I'm in Tampa, I have to make Tampa jokes. If I'm in Boston, I should make Boston jokes. If I'm in New York jokes. Not the whole set, but there has to be elements of it. Because if I bring a Miami joke to New York, they're just not going to relate to it. It's impossible. So that's the tricky part about stand-up comedy. you're always going to be in front of a different audience. So how can you handle that? And how can you still bring your brand to where you make it universal? And in the future, I will be doing that. I will be in different cities, headlining shows, and it's coming.
And did you work that material out anywhere, or you just?
I will. I still haven't done it.
No, but for the you did the Miami Improv, right?
Oh yeah, I went to an open mic actually in the Miami Improv. That was the first time. 'Cause Luis Diaz invited me to go to one, and I did it, and I realized the jokes worked. Because before I decided to do a stand up show, I was like, okay, let me get up here just in case I suck.
Yeah, you gotta test it out.
Yeah, I had to test it out, and I wrote a couple of jokes, and I did like I think it was like 6-7 minutes on stage, but that shit felt like 45 minutes. It was terrible. But yeah, I realized it worked, and I got people laughing to an audience that wasn't expecting me, that really didn't know who I was. And I was like, okay, if I make you guys laugh, then 100% I can make my people laugh.
And how long was the actual improv show, like the main one?
What do you mean, how long?
Like, how long was your set?
Oh, so I was hosting, so I'd be in and out for 10 minutes at a time. So I probably had a total of 30, 45 minutes on stage. And I made it very interactive, but in order to see what I do in my show, you gotta buy a fucking ticket. I'm not gonna tell you what I do in my show.
So, and is music something you want to incorporate into those shows eventually, or maybe a side quest?
That'd be cool. At some point, I'll come back to the music. Right now, most of my time is going to the reels and the funny stuff, but eventually I'll come back. I already did it. I did a Bancuano song with Red. It was kind of a little, flirting back with the line and coming back into music, but I'll do it.
But you still want to like kind of dabble in that comedic space of doing music, like, like the Little Dickies and those type of
It'd be cool.
artists.
Now that you're telling me, I wasn't thinking about it, but
I mean, that's you.
I'm not gonna give you credit, but yeah, I might do it.
You're in our studio, bro. I need a songwriter credit or something.
No, I'm not giving you shit. You're just gonna see it and be like, I should have. But
I want to at least cameo in the video, something.
I could do that. I could do that.
Just in the back with like this little mic,
Yeah, put a dick.
Fun of it.
But it's gonna be a dick. It's gonna be a dildo. You have to hold it. I'm gonna make you talk.
I actually think Lil Dicky, didn't he do a music video that's like all penises or something that come to life?
That's crazy.
Hey, bro.
That's a lot.
Anything can be an idea, can be executed.
It's
bro.
insane that you know about that. I'm not gonna ask you why you watched the dick video.
So you're talking about time and balancing all that. How do you balance? Like you were telling us earlier, you have a family. You're doing your own business. That's takes up a lot of time. Your bread and butter. Then you're creating content at scale, collaborating projects, stand up, this, that. Like, how do you balance that? Do you burn out? Do you have any tricks, tips, habits?
Bro, there is no, when you have children and you have a family and you have that responsibility of you have to, there is no burning out. There's no room for it. I'm very old school with that mentality. I know in this modern age we've highlighted what is mental health, but I feel like a lot of people use it as an escape and as something to hide with. And I don't do that. I'm very old school. How my father raised me is like, hey, you don't have time to bitch. Hey, you got to work. You have to get this done. So you have to do it because you're a man. And that's just how it goes. And that's life. And it's a lot easier to live life that way because then you're not putting the pressure of, I need a mental health day. Obviously, eventually you're going to burn out and you need a fucking vacation. I mean, you have to kind of enjoy also what you work. Everything is not work. Yeah, there's no room for that. There's no room for stopping. You have to go. You stop bitching. You have to go. Be happy that you're in a position where you have a lot to do. I'd rather have a lot to do than nothing to do.
100%. Yeah, I think it's that immigrant mentality. Like our parents came over here, sacrificed and hustled their ass off for us to just even have a better life. So like, especially when we're in this creative industry and like we get to create content and like do cool shit. I'm not gonna sit here and let that pass by and like go half-ass when my parents, and I always think about my grandpa like working 12 hours a day outside construction with his hands, never complained. Never
once. You never saw him cry, you never saw him complain, but that's what made you look up to him, is that you always saw a strong figure. You never saw him exhibit weakness, even though he most likely did. But where would he do it? He would do it in the privacy of his own room when there was nobody around him, because you have that responsibility to your son, to your grandson, to everybody else looking up at you. And you cannot be that figure. That's like if us right now, we saw the president of the United States crying on camera. Everyone freaked the fuck out. It's the same perception.
Yeah. No, and I think it's like you said, it's almost, you got to recognize the burnout, because also besides your mental health and all that, it's not practical for your business. So like you don't want to keep hitting, like why am I keep hitting this burnout or this, I'm like I'm too tired or I can't do it. Like what's causing this so I can fix it. And I understand maybe some of these things aren't making me happy or fulfilling me right now, but let me adjust it. Let me deal with it, and then boom, keep going. Because then you're really just gonna be in like a shitty mood all the time. And
yeah, it's regrouping. You have to do it every night. That's another cyclical thing. It's regrouping, resetting, analyzing what you're doing, and that's part of any business. Any business owner at certain periods in time throughout the year, you have to step back and look at your business and take a break and say, okay, what am I doing? What am I doing wrong? What could I be doing better? Logistically, is everything going how it should? And should I be outsourcing something else? How you said, and like, is there something that is taking up more of my time than it should? Every business owner should be looking at their business like that regularly throughout the year. And I guess those are the moments where you can say, I'm gonna take a vacation, I'm gonna take a break, but the work really never stops when you're a business owner. You give up 9 to 5 to work 24/7. That's what it is.
literally 100%. No, and I think, yeah, like it applies to business and your life. You gotta always like take a step back, whatever it is, every quarter, every year, and just be like, yo, it's like I'm wasting too much time here. Is this making me money? Is this not? Is this making me happy? This and the other. But yeah, 100%. I think that's super important. So I always like to leave my guests, you know, with this last question. What does creativity mean to you?
That's a pansy ass question.
There you go, folks. That's the answer.
That's the fucking answer. I guess I don't know. Creativity is it's my spirit. It's me. If I'm not creating, I'm not happy. If I'm not creating, I don't feel fulfilled. If anybody that knows me knows I have to be creating, and it's not personal that I don't want to fucking talk to you when you're calling me and I'm creating, but you have to understand that's what makes me me. I didn't know the reason I was born until all this Flyva stuff took off. I thought my calling was music, and it was really making people happy and entertaining them. That gave me a purpose in life. And when you have that purpose and you realize it's creativity as a creative, you have to do it. It's something that's almost like drinking water every day. That's what creativity to me is. I tried not to make it pansy because that was a little,
that was bars,
a little
bro.
flojido question. Yeah, it is what it is.
Oh, amen, brother. I couldn't agree more. If you have anything you want to plug, your socials, I mean, I know they all know where to find you, but
it's Flyva, motherfuckers. You already know what it is. If you want some Flyva, come get some Flyva. It tastes fucking great, and no fucking weird Diddy shit, but it does taste right. So if you want Flyva, go find Flyva.
All right, bro. I appreciate you coming through, man. Thank you.
For sure, bro.